Alright guys, it's the Orchid Prince here. You know what? I decided to go ahead and do another video. So I'll be posting a few videos today. But if you watched my previous video, which I don't even see why you would, it was just me telling you what I'm doing today. But I'm actually at my job, The Alchemist, the best coffee you will ever taste. And it's one of the best environments that I've ever been in. There's a garden outside, orchids everywhere. The customers are just great. And the staff that I work with is just amazing. So, I've been coming here for a very long time. I love the orchids around the area. Just a little brief synopsis of what I went over. Yeah, there's a train that goes by right here. But I'm gonna show you what I'm doing. So, I'm gonna take my Insectia Pensive, and what I'm doing is I'm actually going to, I'm not repotting. So, I will not be putting it in any media. I do have a thing of sphagnum moss right here and a bucket soaking. Hello. How are you? Cheney Brothers? Yeah. I think you need to go around the front. You could go through there, just talk to the people at the register. See, I'm still at work. But anyway, I am doing, like I said, I'm not repotting. I'm basically introducing all these to this area. They've got logs, shade areas, they've got trees, so I'm actually going to be attaching them to different trees, to different shade areas, and letting them go. We have someone that comes and waters the plants every once in a while. I mean, it's Florida, so I believe they'll be okay. But these are all the ones that I didn't really need. I've either got way too many of them, or they don't look good enough to sell or trade, or, you know, just looking sick, or I just need the pots. Like, I've got all of them in these terracotta pots, and I'm moving to inorganic media for a lot of them. I'm gonna give that a try for a little bit because, you know, it seems like that's what everybody's doing, and I have an IKEA that actually sells inorganic media, so I'll be getting from them. But until then, I needed to just clear out some of my shade area so that I could have more room. Plus, we have a lot of orchid festivals coming up. A lot. So, let's go ahead and get to it. So, this is what I'm doing. I'm taking my Insectia Pensive. This is actually not a Pensive. This is an Insectia alta early bird. So, very close relative to the native orchid here, Insectia Pensive, known as the butterfly orchid, which has a good honey scent. Now, this is one of my bloomers. It bloomed for me a few months ago, but I've got great areas for it to grow here, and I don't really have to worry about it. It's at work, so while I'm here, I'll get paid to water them. So instead of wasting hours watering them and taking care of them. Now, this one doesn't have a lot of roots, so what I'm doing is I'm actually going to take this, and I'm submerging it in my water. Now keep in mind, this is the way I'm doing this for this specific thing. If I'm repotting, if I am, you know, trying to create a, you know, specimen size plant, then I'm gonna be a lot more careful. But I've got a thing of water, it's reclaimed water, so I haven't checked the pH level or anything. I do have hydrogen peroxide using from the kit inside. I've sterilized my snippers with a flame and rubbing alcohol. So in between each one, I try to do it, but if I've got a whole bunch of the same kind and I got them at the same time and I know that they've been in the same area, I'm not going to. So the reason I'm wetting it is because being epiphytes and me using organic materia, this isn't Final Fantasy VII, media, then, ooh, there's a spider. Ah, I don't like spiders. Ah! Okay. I'm just gonna set that down for just a second. Oh, okay, I think it's gone. Anyway, being epiphytic, they're going to attach to wood. And I used a bark media. Horrible for repotting, horrible. I just repotted one that was in an inorganic media. And once those got wet, the balls came right off. So I am just going to take all this bark off. Wetting it actually helps release the roots from the media that it's growing in. So, and I do have some good roots, I lied. So, I'm gonna go ahead and clip that bloom spike. See, that's the great thing about orchids. You learn as you go as well. I've watched other people grow, like, for instance, water culture. Not a big fan. I forget about it, and the water turns brown, and they just end up rotting. So I don't do that. I have now learned my lesson with sphagnum moss. Not every sphagnum moss is the same. For instance, some will actually absorb and retain water. Some will dry out very quickly. It all depends on where you get it from, who you get it from, how old it is. So I thought sphagnum moss was going to be the way I grew everything. I did, you know, I had all the baby catasetums. I'd water them at the same time, but no, the media just would not retain the water that I needed it to. So what I'm doing is I'm just trying to get, I'm not doing this perfectly. I'm staying away from the roots that are currently growing, but I am just getting, as you can see, all the gorgeous roots right here. I'm just getting the bulbs at the middle. Usually in the very middle is where they've actually grown it from seedlings, which are usually a big either clump of coconut husk or sphagnum moss. It all really just depends. A lot of them lately have been coconut husk. So you get that out because you don't want that to rot. And I'm actually gonna see, when it comes to bark like this, there's so many great roots that are attached to it. I'm not going to attempt to actually undo that. Keep in mind, I'm introducing them into a new environment. I want them to have the best chances. So that is all I'm going to do for now. And then I'm going to set them aside. And I'm gonna grab another one. So I'll do another video when I actually attach them. It's going to be very simple and easy. I'm using wire and fishing line, and I'm just going to wrap it around so they don't fall off. I have my sphagnum moss here, and the only reason I'm doing this now is because I want them to have a little bit of help staying moist, because this isn't a greenhouse. This isn't, I mean, there's a pond, so there's going to be humidity, but I want them to have as much water. Now, I don't really have to worry about them rotting or sitting in water because they're not in pots. They're going to be attached to trees. So this will give them the moisture that's around them, but it'll drip all the excess off. So I don't have to worry about it. So I will check them every once in a while, and I'll give y'all a tour soon. But anyway, this is the Orchid Prince. I gotta get back to work. Talk to y'all later. Bye.